Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Thank you for tuning into another Supatease video. And in this one, we are going to be constructing the best level 25 PvP Season of Discovery Druid build. So if you want to be pumping massive numbers and having a great time, then this is going to be an awesome video to check out with a lot of different strategies and techniques to take into consideration and take into your arsenal. So without further ado, let's get started. At level 25, most of our PvP experience is going to be world PvP. It's going to be Warsong Gulch, it's going to be flag carrying, and it's going to be massive scale fighting. Now in massive scale fighting, you want to stay at ranged and you want to stay at a distance. So my expectation that for one of the best builds to do this is going to be a hybrid of resto balance. Not to say that Feral won't be decent. Feral Druid has access to certain talents like feline swiftness, which is going to grant you movement speed outdoors, which is going to make you one of the most mobile classes, maybe the most mobile class in the game at level 25. But getting into close quarters is going to be really dangerous and really risky and likely really frustrating because you're going to get dogpiled. So for me, I'd much rather stay at ranged and stay at a distance. So our runes are going to sort of determine which talents we are ultimately going to go for. The Fury of Storm Rage, which is the first rune available to you, is likely going to be the best option for this ranged build because it's the only one other than Living Seed, which honestly, you're not really going to be seeing a lot of critical strike heals, I think, at this level. Fury of Storm Rage is going to make your Wrath 100% free. So we're not going to be taxed on mana, which has typically been a really big problem for balanced Druid or Druid in general, trying to DPS from ranged. And in addition to this, you're going to have a 12% chance every time you cast these Wraths to get an instant cast healing touch. And instant cast healing in PvP is one of the most powerful healing effects throughout the history of the game. So Fury of Storm Rage is going to be a really powerful rune and likely mandatory at this level for PvP. Now, what's going to be great to synergize with this is improved Wrath, which is going to reduce the cast time of our Wrath by 0.5 seconds, enabling us free Wraths and more chances at getting instant cast healing touches. That's going to be a huge, we got to get that 5 points just because of this rune alone. The next talent that I would recommend is taking at least 1 point in Nature's Grasp. What this is going to do is allow you more opportunities to escape from melee attackers. A rogue sneaks up onto you. You can have a Nature's Grasp preloaded. They don't have cheap shot. They don't have kidney. So if they open on you with an ambush, they're likely getting rooted. You can shapeshift away and escape them in bear form more easily. So I would recommend at least 1 point in Nature's Grasp. This, with only one, you're running a little bit of a chance of it not proccing, but I think one is generally enough to get the job done. And that's going to be kind of our first row of talents here onto the balance tree. We've got great ways to peel melee DPS. We've got great ways to fuel our rune and get lots of potential free healing. Our next rune that we need to talk about is going to be going onto our hands. Our options are Sunfire, Lacerate, Wild Growth, and Mangle. And you can see Wild Growth not too useful in PvP. Maybe if you were like group healing, in Ashen Vale and you world PvP, but Sunfire is going to be an extra dot. We want things that are instant cast damage dealers. Also, damage over time effects are really powerful, mostly because you apply them and they're going to rot that target down. And basically no classes other than Priest have the ability to remove these damage over time effects that are magic. So these dots are going to stick and you can just run away and watch your dots do all of the work. This is one of the best techniques in classic PvP for Druid in order to whittle down your opponents. So Sunfire is just going to be an extra dot, and that is going to be a really easy rune for us to lock in on this second round, which then opens up the table for some options. We can then go for Insect Swarm to get a third dot. This is something that I am likely going to consider. To do this, we can either get Improved Mark of the Wild, which is going to give us extra stats and armor. It's going to be a nice little buff, or we can go for Furor to get extra rage when we shapeshift into bear form. This is going to enable us to cast Demoralizing Roar and reduce attack power on melee attackers. I'm likely going to lead for the stats and the armor. I think it's going to be a little bit more value. We get into a little bit of trouble down here, though, because these talents are just generally not great. The reduced casting time on Healing Touch. We're already getting instant cast healing touches. It's not guaranteed. But we may want to go for improved enrage just to get more rage when we're in bear form. If melee DPS get on top of us, we can go for the reduced casting time just in case we don't get any baseline. Generally, you're not going to want to, you avoid interruption while getting hit with these casted spells. You're generally going to want to be moving away, I think, rather than standing still and casting. So we could just go for the healing touch. It's a little unfortunate there's not a lot of synergy with it. And we can get into Insect Swarm. And what this will enable us to do, actually, we can't do that. I lied. We have to drop Nature's Grasp. This is really unfortunate. Okay, this is going to be, we've got to monitor that we're only level 25, right? This is really unfortunate. We're going to have to drop Nature's Grasp. We're losing a huge amount of defense to do this, but this will enable us to get 3 dots. So we can basically just run around dotting everything and watching everything wither away as we stay at a distance and we stay far away from the engagement. This is kind of the dot build that I was considering. Disappointed now after doing the calculations and seeing that we can't actually get Nature's Grasp with this. It might even be worth dropping 1 point of improved Wrath to get Nature's Grasp. Take that into consideration. We're really limited on talent points right now. So if you're seeing, a lot of frustration with rogues, you may want to go for Nature's Grasp. If you're just out in, world PvP and you're not really worried about it, you got a bunch of people with you, then you could obviously do 1 point and get a little bit faster of a Wrath. I expect that this build will likely do the most amount of damage per second in PvP because all of it is instant, which leads us into our final rune for our final rune selection, which is Star Surge. This is a bit of confusion around this ability. I've seen some people talking about it as a cast time. Other people are saying that it's instant. I am on the side of the fence right now that it is instant cast. But if it is not instant cast, then it is likely going to be Life Bloom. That is the rune that we want to go for. Star Surge is a very difficult spell to cast. It's on multiple schools of magic, which means you can't do anything when you're locked out on it. And again, anything that you have to cast is really risky. So Life Bloom is just a really powerful heal. This will just keep us alive while we're applying 3 dots to everything, watching them all burn while we're healing ourselves up with Life Bloom. So this is really determinant on how powerful Star Surge is, whether or not it's instant cast. If it's not instant and it's not doing a lot of damage, I am taking Life Bloom. There's no doubt about it. I am taking Life Bloom in that instance. But if it is powerful and it is instant cast, then I may go for it instead. So this is a bit of an alternating one. I think Star Surge is, going to be more fun, but when you're looking at competitive flag carrying, you're going to want to Life Bloom yourself before shapeshifting and trying to move across the map and things like that. I think Life Bloom will be really good in that instance. So this would be like a super conservative, like you're just focused on dot damage and healing, and you're going to pump out some really big numbers. And have really a consistent gameplay. This is like my ideal situation. This would be my ideal build, swapping either between Life Bloom or Star Surge, depending on how valuable it is. And we don't really know yet 100% for certain. But Life Bloom in the past has been really powerful, and it's just a really strong instant cast dot. So if you're flag carrying, I would definitely go for Life Bloom. If you're going for solo PvP, probably Life Bloom. If you're in a group and Star Surge is good, then I would be going for Star Surge. The other build, the secret build that I am considering, we're going to call it the Bazooka Boomkin. We'll call it the Bazooka Boomkin. This is a little bit more oriented around the talents in the Boomkin tree. We get critical strike damage and chance for Moonfire. This is just going to give us more direct damage overall. We're going to go for Thorns, which does a lot of damage actually in older versions of the game. And we're going to go for Nature's Reach to get extra range of all of our spells. This way we can stay at a distance and have enemies dying to our Thorns damage. And then we can opt for a stun. Now this is a very minor chance to get a stun. And we're going to reduce the cast time of Starfire by 0.1 seconds. And it's a really long cast time. This is just a really cheeky build more than anything for Druid right now. If you just want to cast Starfire and basically do nothing else and have a chance at stunning someone, because stuns are so limited at this level. I think it's Between the Eyes rune for Rogue, Hammer of Justice for Paladin. This could be a really fun, just hard casting Starfire, trying to one-shot people in the back, kind of like a marksmanship hunter. But I don't think it will be as strong. It won't be as flexible, and it won't be a good flag carrying and solo PvP build, but it's just a fun, cheeky one, kind of just Bazooka Boomkin. I think ideally now, having looked at these talents myself and running it back, I'm probably going to be running the really conservative Insect Storm one and getting the triple dots. Maybe I would take 1 point out of Wrath and get Nature's Grasp. And if I wanted to be really safe, I'd be running Life Bloom. And this would kind of be like I'm turtling all day and I'm going to win every 1v1. I'm just going to dot you up. I'm going to sit in bear form with Life Bloom ticking, take 0 damage, and laugh it up and be the best PvP spec in the game. At least that's my ideas going so far here for this build. Stat allocation, obviously, I think stamina and intellect are some of the highest value at this level, just based on stat per point. So those are going to be kind of the things I'm going after. But there are spell power items, I believe, available that have been updated to the game at level 25. So getting a couple of those will also be likely really desirable. So keep that in mind for your gearing. But other than that, that's my build. That's my idea. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. This is what I'm going to be rocking when Season of Discovery releases. And thank you for watching the video. I will see you in the next one.